Hi, this is a foreigner living in the Philippines. Well, I really wanted to talk about the superstitions, the folklore, um, the beliefs and the different belief systems that we found here in the Philippines. Of course, they're different to me, but they're not different to Beth. This is what she has grown up with. And I should make a disclaimer very quickly that if you hear puppies squealing, they're not being beaten by my mother-in-law as she holds the camera with one hand and beats them with the other. They're puppies and they lie there squealing. So if you hear that, that's the disclaimer, okay? So right now, we've had this this help that we've been giving via generous donations to Desiree. And Desiree was struck down 6 years ago with debilitating muscle disease that they're still not sure what happened. Well, that's the medical profession are not sure what's happened, but Desiree has her own story, and she told Beth, and of course I don't know any of this, so because it's all in Visayan, but she told Beth her story. So listen, we're reporting it to you on the basis of this is how it was told. Okay, so when I'm looking at life here, I try to tell it just as I find it and without judgment. Right, so if you can just not disbelieve, that would be a big help. Well, there's the chicken's handled, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
So tell us what Desiree said.
When I was in Cebu that time, one of my board mates is a classmate of Desiree, you know. So when it happens to Desiree, my board mate tell me about, you know, about that superstitious belief that Desiree went to the faith healer, but I'm not really.
Well, she went to the. Sorry.
Yeah, she went to the
now
faith.
you're doing what I always am accused of doing. You're
Yeah.
speaking very quietly.
So my board mate before told me about Desiree and the faith healer, but I didn't get it. You know, I didn't get it. So
Desiree went to a faith healer.
yeah. So yesterday I tried my I tried to ask her. You know, I don't want to offend her, so I just made it to a little sneaky. You know that did you go to the faith healer, or they call it Bisaya? You know, nagpabisaya. So I do that a little so that she will open up to me. You know. So I asked her, did you go to the faith healer? Because you told me that you went to the hospital, you were admitted there, and you conduct CT scan, MRI, ultrasound, X-ray, and you said there's nothing wrong. You know, there's no diagnosis. So because usually in the Filipinos, usually they believe faith healer. You know, because there are some elements. We know that there are some elements in this world. You know that. Even the when you go to the medical side, they don't believe it, you know. So I asked Desiree, and she said yes, and then she tried to open up about it, and she's, according to her, this is the story. She's in Leyte, somewhere in Leyte, in Tacloban, because she
Which
has
is another
island, you know.
Okay.
Because she's working there at the same she's working there with her relatives, you know. The house is owned by her relatives, and that house is old house, you know. And in the back of that house there is an old big tree, you know. So the owner of the house decided to expand the house into a second floor, and it happens when they put up an aircon, the man who put up the aircon needs to cut the tree, you know. So what happened? They cut the tree, which is the big and old tree. They cut it, and after a few days, a week, the son of the owner got a fever. You know,
And how old was that?
I forgot to ask, but it's a little boy.
Oh, a child.
So, a child. So got a fever. So the boss rushed them to the hospital, you know. So the boy was been admitted, according to the Desiree, in a few days. and according to the doctor, it's already cleared. You can discharge now. So
after a few days of being in hospital,
yeah,
the
the doctor
doctors
said
discharged him.
discharge
And
him.
what did they
So,
say
but-
about his condition?
Nothing, nothing.
diagnosis.
No diagnosis. But before the discharge, in the next days, the boy died. But after that, according to Desiree, after that, during the admissions of the boy, while the boy is in the hospital, Desiree already feels something wrong with her leg.
So the boy's in hospital, and Desiree has already started to experience
yes, something wrong.
symptoms
Yeah,
in
symptoms.
her knee.
So while the little boy is in the hospital, Desiree also conducts some examination.
So it was bad enough that she went to
Yeah.
the doctor with it.
Yeah, so she
Okay.
should do some examination. That's according to her. So suddenly, it's very sad. The boy died.
So he came home,
Yeah,
and within
in a few days the boy died. That's according to her. And the family bring the boy to the funeral homes, while Desiree is taking care of the another kids, while she feels something wrong with her body, something wrong with her knee. So to make it the story short, Desiree came home, to her
so
to
it
the
was bad
family.
enough. It was bad enough that she came home.
Yeah, she came home because it's
So
too.
she came back to Bohol.
Yeah, she came back to Bohol, and then the family of Desiree decided to go to the hospital for checkup for further
So this was 6 years ago.
yeah, 6 years ago, for further examination. So they went to Cebu. She was been admitted. They conduct some examination, ultrasound, CT scan, and then the doctor said there's no findings, there's no diagnosis, so it's better. So they decided, the family, to go home. So that's the time where after the discharge of Desiree, in a few days, according to Desiree, she has a problem with her throat, and her hearing is something wrong also, and her eyes is blind, she feel blind. So in fact, according to Desiree, they go to the optical clinic for eyeglass, but she didn't saw anything, and in her mind, for example, she said to her sister, can you give me water, can you give me something to pee, in her mind, she knows that she said it, but the sister didn't know, because the sister said, you didn't tell me. So in other words, she
Tell her what?
tell her that give me water. It's just in her mind. She thinks that she tell her sister, give me water, give me something to pee, something where I can pee, like that. So now, some advices, you go to the faith healer, because she can't able to see, even there's an eyeglass, she cannot hear, she cannot say something because there's no word came out in her mouth. That's what she says. So some family members advise to go to the faith healer, because they're somewhere in Cebu. Because her mother is somewhere in Cebu, So there is a well-known faith healer that can cure, So they go there. In fact, according to her, it's an expense. It's a bit expensive, because the faith healer is from the mountain, somewhere in the next town. So the faith healer just send some money to the faith healer to come to their place, So in a few days, the faith healer go there, and her sight is been back, her hearing been back.
As a result of
Yeah.
the faith healer.
As a result of the faith healer. And according to the faith healer, Desiree has been kicked a little boy from other dimension, from other spirit,
So some disembodied
yeah,
spirit
some disembodied spirit.
was
And
kicking her in the knee.
I don't know, like for example, I walk and then I suddenly like that, you understand? The little boy was just standing up, and then because we cannot show other elements, he passed, and then suddenly the little boy like that. So that's the start where her knee been
started to get worse.
get or starting being nothing good, worse. So in other words, that knee problem start up because of that incident.
But didn't it start, but the knee started in Leyte.
Yeah, in Leyte. So it happens that Desiree doing that encounter with that little boy in Leyte.
Oh,
The
I
boy
see,
that
I
is
see,
another
yeah.
element.
Okay.
So
Some ghost or
or
spiritual
other
being. Or...
spiritual being. So that's the start of her knee and other, So that's what the faith healer said. So we know. So the faith healer asking for white chicken, some eggs, for ritual, to ask forgiveness, And according to the faith healer, don't worry, I will be the one to do. I will be the one to do the ritual for that, So later on, in a few days, in a few weeks, that faith healer be back for this treatment, and then it cost them, so they decided not to continue, and then Desiree decided to come home in Bohol, because it's not easy to function. So and then there's another family members advice, some relatives, some neighbors says that there's another faith healer somewhere there. It's very good faith healer. It can cure, And then there is one faith healer that told them that I can let you walk, I can let you walk. Just give me 30,000 pesos. 30,000 pesos for they call it habak. It's like it's like a diamond or that kind of stone that you're
like
going to, it's like a crystal stone that you're going to put on your,
So
like a belt protection.
You have a belt and it's attached to your skin?
Yeah, it's like a belt protection to avoid those elements and to back your knee. And so the father of Desiree says, okay, do it. Find that crystal. I'll pay you double, but let my daughter walk first. Because they already get that. Possible it's a scam, it's a liar. And when you pay the 30,000, it's not happened. And that faith healer ran. So the father and the family says, okay, we're going to pay it. Even we're going to double it as long as my daughter can walk first before we give you the money. And then the faith healer says, no, you need to pay first the 30,000.
Okay.
So that's how it is.
So they got rid of that.
Yeah, they get rid of it. And then until it came that they just wait until it happens that she will walk, because there's a lot of faith healer that they went through. And in fact, one of the faith healers says that there is just one nerve that needs to align, because there is a nerve that dislocate, That's the cause why he said her knee was been very strong. So once the specific nerve will realign, so it will be Desiree will be back to walk,
But gradually she's become weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
And then they got the
walking frame, and according to her, there's a little improvement.
Because then she started to get up, and even though it was slow, she started to walk.
She started to walk, but it's different because if you go to the doctor's side, the medical aspect, they don't believe that it happens because of other elements, So I think it's just I told Desiree that you just wait, you just continue praying, because whether it's happened to you because of other elements or whatever it is, or because of medical aspect, in God's hand there's nothing impossible, because God owns everything. God's is a source of miracle, so just praying. That's the only weapon that no cost at all, You don't need to pay, you don't need to spend a lot of money, you just pray,
Well, it's free to pay.
Yeah, pray to it's free, and God's ears is very wide to listen to those sincerely pray and to those who
So
continually
essentially
pray.
what Beth is expecting is that we all believe in God, and therefore if we believe in God, we believe in, say, Satan. I know that Satan exists because somebody had to invent the karaoke machine. So there must be a Satan. But it's easy to discount things that we don't understand. And
Yeah.
I always think of that example of, if you are out in the Amazon, think of yourself out in the Amazon, deep in the Amazon forest, where there are still, and this is a fact, there are still tribes there that have yet to see civilization, and they haven't seen civilization. So how would a father walking along with his son, looking up into the sky, seeing a 747, how would he explain that? They've never seen any civilization, so how would they explain? And probably he would explain that away to the child by saying it's the silver bird, because it's in the sky and evidently it's flying, so it must be a bird because only birds fly. So that would be an explanation that would work for that situation. It wouldn't be the real explanation, but it would handle that situation. So what we're looking at now is we're looking at the situation where we don't know exactly whether something is true or not.
Yeah.
It's easiest to discount it. That's the point. It's easy to discount it, but is discounting it any more real than believing it? Because if you go back to, say, the teachings of Christ, and everybody knows that I'm not a Christian, that doesn't mean I'm not a believer, as many people have commented, that you have to be either a believer or a non-believer. They have me down for being a non-believer, right, which is not true. I know that Christ at one point had a soldier who came to him and said, "Can you come to my home and cure my child who is dying?
Yeah.
My daughter is dying. Can you come and cure her?"
Yeah.
Christ said to him, "Do you believe that if I come to your house, your daughter will be cured by me? Do you believe that I will cure her?"
Mm-hmm.
And the man said, "Yes, I do."
And it cured.
Christ said, "Go home, your daughter is cured."
Yeah.
In other words, what Christ was saying, in effect, was that your belief will cure your child. That's why he said, on many occasions, the man was lowered down. Remember when he was preaching in this house, and the man was lowered down on
The paralyzed man.
yes, and he couldn't walk, and he asked Christ to cure him, and he didn't cure him. He said,
Walk.
"Pick up thy bed and walk."
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most famous examples. And because the man believed that that would happen, it happened. So it also works the other way around. If you believe the bad stuff can happen, then that's also a good possibility too. So it gets back to what we believe can be the way that it is. So superstition, all of these stories, they're all based in some kind of facts. It's just how we choose to interpret them.
Yeah, and then yes, there's some superstitions. Superstitious belief like that, like this. There are people like there are some elements that, but the bottom is God is powerful than everything else. God is powerful more than anything else. And whatever disease it is, whatever sickness it is, God is the great healer. And in His hands, impossible things is nothing.
Can you stop that damn rooster from...
Yeah, so God is
Crying
good,
all the
God is
time?
great, so we just believe His powers.
So much for superstition.
Yeah.
We're just saying it like it has been told to us. That's the way. That's the only way that you can find out what real life is about for many of the people that are here.
Yeah.
So, anything else? Yeah, Miss Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. God is good all the time. Bye-bye. God bless.